everyone. Do you know if H.influenza or Haemophilus influenza is it a bacteria or a virus? It seems pretty straightforward. Influenza is flu, and we know that flu is caused by virus. But H.influenza is a bacteria, is not a virus. Yeah, so this is a classic example of a misnomer in medicine. Just because medicine is not hard enough, we have to deal with misnomers. Let's look at the story behind it. So this dates back to 1890s, where there was an outbreak of flu-like symptoms like fever, sore throat, dry cough, and this is in the setting of Russia. And it was called Russian flu. Patients started to deteriorate and they were admitted to the hospitals, and they started having productive cough, recurrent fevers, and they were developing chest infections. Doctors have then isolated a bug from the sputum of these patients, and that was grown on a chocolate agar, and it was named as Haemophilus influenza. Haemophilus because it is hemo, blood, philus, loving, so blood loving because it's growing on a chocolate agar, and influenza because it was causing flu-like symptoms. And in this setting of 1890s, virus was not yet identified, so the only possible explanation for the symptoms and in these patients was the identified organism, which is Haemophilus influenza. So they were not very wrong. But later on in 1930s, they found out influenza was actually caused by a virus and not a bacteria. So what happened in 1890s? They were still able to identify this organism. They were able to grow the sputum of patients. Now we understand this mechanism as a secondary bacterial infection. So when a patient has flu-like symptoms, they have virus which is causing these symptoms, but that also makes them susceptible for secondary bacterial infection. And in that case, in that particular situation, it was Haemophilus influenza, which is the secondary bacterial infection. These were the patients who were later on sick, and this bacteria was found and identified in those patients. If you go back and see, not all the patients were actually affected with Haemophilus influenza, because in a lot of patients, it was just flu. It was just a viral infection, and they didn't end up in the hospitals. So now, you know, Haemophilus influenza is a bacteria, not virus, and this is a misnomer. Bye-bye.